taxes, inflation, and the breakdown of the family are causing us to fall behind. We have the lowest net worth in the United States, and I'm sure those numbers cross the border as well.
Some people get the disability tax credit and they don't open the registered disability savings plan, and that's where the government puts in all the money of grants and bonds for a person with a disability who has done all the steps. Some people don't do all the steps.
No, some people don't do all the steps. Good morning. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner. I actually reversed it this time. Okay, no problem. We are all good. Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. And also, I am the co-host and co-producer of the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And the Dr. Vibe Show, created and produced in Canada, syndicated around the world. So I say that. Also, I am the co-host and co-producer of the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team, reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. So as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Usually I have my cohort, Mr. Ryan O'Neill Knight, with us, but I don't see him this morning for some reason. Now, let me just do something here. I think I'm too bright. There, that's better. I like that. I like that a little bit better. All right. And don't know where he is, but I hope he is okay. Ryan has got a lot going on, as you understand, but that's okay. So, people jumping into the room already, where are you chiming in from? Would love to hear what is going on. It's a little bit warmer in the Greater Toronto area today. We have had a deep freeze for, 4, 5, 6 days, and we need some warm weather. So, Dr. Tachi is going to be on in a minute. Can you ask Dr. Tachi to send some Florida warmth up to the Toronto area? That'd be really appreciative. Also, on a more serious note, for anyone directly or indirectly impacted by the fires in California, we speak it that it gets resolved soon. I've seen some pictures. I've seen how crazy that situation is. So we're speaking good stuff, and hopefully that resolves. So a lot of people lost a lot of homes. There is some fatalities. And also big shout out to the first responders who are fighting that fire that, like I was hearing it was like 5 football fields every few minutes are getting destroyed. Could not imagine that. But of course, there's politics involved. There's also, it's another thing too. Insurance companies are, a lot of insurance companies are not wanting to invest in California, which is a whole other conversation. But hey, who knows? So, who is in the room this morning? Okay, there we go. We got something. Well, Dr. Tachi's in the room. She's commenting. Good morning, all. So she is here. She's going to be with us in a few seconds. Also, Indie Suit Media is in the room also. This is fantastic. A lot of stuff. How's everyone's 2025 going so far? I think a lot of people are still trying to get going. This is the first full week for most people to be back. For many people, I wouldn't say most, for many people back in the grind. For myself, it's just going and going and going and going. Just got to keep on serving. So a lot of exciting things come up, and working on this platform and all the platforms that I am part of. Good morning, Wayne Harris. What is up, Mr. Wayne Harris? And if you did not catch when he was on the first Friday this month, the 3rd, please catch that replay. And I've created some YouTube shorts from it, and they always get good viewing, which we'll talk about it, but is it January 19th is the D-Day for TikTok? Is TikTok going to go away? I'm going to certainly have a conversation with Dr. Tachi on that. Just out of curiosity, does anyone use TikTok that's in the live stream? Does anyone use it? I don't, because I haven't made the time, and most of my audience is on YouTube, so I haven't made the effort to create an audience on TikTok. What do people find out about TikTok? So let's see. One of our producers says, I do. And what do you think about the pending, well, at least the ban in the US? I don't know what Canada's doing in regards to that. And speaking about Canada, who was part of Monday's epic conversation on the Morning Vibe? It was the longest Morning Vibe ever. Why? Because the prime minister of the country that myself and Ryan live in announced that he's going to be stepping down from running his party. We went for like 3.5 hours on Monday. And I was sharing with some people. They said, how you went so long? Didn't you take a break? And I said, well, around 10:30, we said, should we take a break and come back, or should we just continue on? And there was so much engagement from the audience that, we won't shut it down. So, and it's going to be interesting because the 47, the old but new president of the United States, is saying Canada should become our 51st state. So he is wreaking havoc all over the place, which he likes to do usually. And he's getting quite a chant, quite pushback from a lot of Canadians. And actually, in some ways, it's good because you're seeing Canadian identity and unity, which you haven't seen in a long time in this country, in Canada, happening. So we'll see what happens. If you're a Canadian and you're watching this live or in the replay, do you want your country to become a state? So one of our producers says, that doesn't mind the banning of TikTok. She says, I think it's kind of a good thing because now Canadian content creators have the opportunity to earn money and get brand deals. Well, that's a whole other conversation about brand deals. That's a whole other conversation about brand deals. All right. And one of our producers says, Dr. Tachi is in the house. In the house. And she goes, finally. So she's been waiting. One of our producers has been waiting to have Dr. Tachi back in the house. And one of our producers is also, Dr. Delib, I like your background. Thank you so much. Well, one of the things I've intentionally wanted to do, especially at the beginning of a new year, is change things up. So new background, yes, and you'll see that there's going to be there's a few things going on. There's a few changes, good changes going on. Okay, so it's quiet this morning. I wonder, is it because it's cold outside? JJ Mars is in the house. I'm always counting on my man, JJ Mars. Good Friday morning to you also, our man from Colorado. Definitely in the top 5 people who come on a regular basis when I'm online, and myself Monday and Fridays on, and also Saturday. Program alert for you guys who are fans of Primetime Saturday with Aish and Lala. New starting time tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. Eastern. So be aware of that. Be aware of that. But JJ Mars, what are your thoughts about the fires going on in LA? I hope you're not impacted. And do you know anyone that's been impacted by the fires in LA? I'd be very curious to know if you've been if you know anyone that's been impacted by that, because it's a serious situation. Of course, 47 is blaming Gavin Newsom, saying there should have been more water, this, that, and the other thing. And of course, anytime there's a chance for a political jump in, 47 is going to get in on it. But you know what? Serena Wills, good morning. Everyone from the very brisk DMV area, snow here and more snow is coming. I did hear that. I hear that the eastern coast of the United States is going to get hit by a whole pile of snow. We don't have any on the ground up here. And Americans say, Canada without any snow? We don't. Well, this part of Canada, there's no snow. Macmillan Group, good morning, Dr. Vibe. Looking forward to this morning's conversation. Yes, and after today's show, I have a conversation with Ray McMillan, and I'll put it out there. Laura Lala Key. We're working on something. I've been wanting them to collaborate with something, and we're working on something for you all in the very near future. This is good. All right, people are piling in here. And yeah, our producer says, you have snow down where you are. Keep it. That's my word. Keep it. Sheena Will says the kids had 3 snow days this week. Yeah, the side roads are still very bad and icy. Serena Will says prayers up for California. Yes, I was supposed to have, Wayne Harris says, Notice 47 was able to distract us from the anniversary of the January 6th insurrection and make Canada state foolishness. Yes, I think that's what 45 did, deflect about the insurrection. What else? What happened? But also January 6th was that the funeral for President Carter too? I think that there was a memorial in Washington that day. Interesting enough, I think the full memorial they had on Wednesday, there's a picture I just saw online. All the former presidents have their hand over their chest except one former president. Guess who that was? All right, Indy Sub. Dr. Chang says, hey, Ray and Serena. Also, Indy Soup Media. Yeah. Hey, Ray and Serena. JG Mars. I don't have any relatives or friends in California anymore. They moved out years ago. Yeah, that's a good move. That's a good move. And Dr. Tachi says the state funeral was yesterday, and also Indy Soup Media, the state funeral was yesterday. Yeah, I didn't catch it, but I saw pictures, and yeah, yes. And JJ Mar says he wants to take Greenland over also. Wow. Serena says, no, the memorial part 1 was Tuesday the 7th. It was snowing too bad here on the 7th. Okay. See, you guys got my back. You keep me educated. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for a quick break, and then we're going to have Dr. Tachi in the house talking about a review of 2024, the year in media, tech, and pop culture. So we'll be back in just a moment on the Morning Vibe. Here we go. Good morning, everyone. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show.
My name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network.
What's been going on?
What's not been going on?
And that isn't how politics work.
The bills you have are a direct reflection of what you value for yourself and your family.
Yes, he is. Here we go. Created in Canada, syndicated around the world. All right. Told you some new stuff coming down. That's one of the new things. We got some new little promos going down. So there we go. There we go. There we go. All right. So before we get the guest, the power broker of media. When I said that, I could see the look on her face. I don't click off into the show, please, Dr. Tachi. Let me do some quick things. As always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Please like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, on Instagram. Also, to advertise your business, product, or service on our show or any of the shows that I'm a part of, please email me at dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. Also, join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Email me again, dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. And also, make sure you check out Indie Soup TV. See, and because Dr. Taj here said I want to get it right today. Best way is go to their YouTube channel. There is the link. I'm also going to put it in the comments section on most of the platforms everyone's watching today. On YouTube, there's a website address. Great home of independent content creators. I've lost track how many. Dr. Tachi can update us on that. But just over 8.5 months old, over 22,000 subscribers. She can give the deets to you. And there we go. So without further, I know this is one of her words, adieu. Dr. Tachi's in the house. What is going on, Dr. Tachi?
I am fantastic. How are you, Dr. Vibe? It's very fitting that you said created in Canada, syndicated across the world, because it's not just the show, it's you. Created in Canada, syndicated across
I do to that. I do to that. What's been going on? What's been going on?
Oh, well, first of all, let me say definitely thinking about the people in Southern California who are being affected by the wildfires. I know quite a few people who are in this area who have had to be evacuated. Some are now back in their homes. We're hoping that the winds kind of die down and change direction, because this has been interesting. And I was talking about this fact with one of my friends that lives in Southern California, and I'm telling her she lives in Pasadena.
Oh.
So yeah, so I was like, I'm so sorry this happened. And they just moved probably last year to Pasadena. And she said, well, one, I chose to move here. I said, okay. Two, these things have been happening for centuries and it's necessary ecologically. I'm like, okay. Number three, I chose to move here. I'm like, okay, I get it, but we still don't want that to happen to you. And the thing is too, when we look at the effect of urban sprawl and people moving further and further away from the city centers to the outskirts of where these things happen, right? So not that any of this could have been avoided, but if we think about years ago, how far out did people live in Los Angeles and Los Angeles County and all those places? Not so far out, right? Where there's brush and it's dry and they haven't had rain in a very long time. So where there's more of this dry brush there's a lot of fire accelerant. And if the closer you live to it, some people are like, they thought the fire was far away. They just turned to get something and it's right in their backyard. So definitely thinking about the people in Southern California. And then number two, I would like my deposit back for 2025, please. When I paid for this year, I didn't think that all of this was going to happen. So yes, please, whoever's the steward of 2025, I would like my deposit back because I'm not pleased thus far. It's only day 10 and already.
Before we go into anything else, I want our producer to go back to the comment from Wayne Harris. Says, Notice 47 was able to distract us from the anniversary of January 6th insurrection with the Make a Canada Safe foolishness. You see how he works, family? You didn't hear any media coverage on the anniversary of the insurrection because he strategically put out his calls to make Canada a 51st state. You didn't hear anything wise about that anniversary.
When are we going to stop being fools? I blame us.
Yeah.
You can only be fooled if you yourself are a fool. You listened to it. Now, I did notice on Joy Reid's Instagram account and her TikTok, she was actually wearing elephant earrings, not only because she's a member of Delta Sigma Theta, but also because she said elephants never forget. And that was in reference to not forgetting about January 6th. People with sense didn't forget about January 6th, but people who were, it's like, you're talking, it's like, ooh, a puppy. That the puppy was talking about making Canada a 51st state. Now, good and darn well. Good and darn well. And then the foolishness about Greenland, good and darn well.
Okay, let's go on. Some comments here. Serena Wills says, yes, Indie Soup Media is at 22.7K YouTube subscriber.
Yeah.
Prevent Promotion says, hi, Dr. Vibe. Fitness IQ Cam says, Monin, the queen of push-ups. She knows what I mean by that. Serena Will says, Fitness IQ. She's Fitness IQ, queen of push-ups and planks. There we go. Fitness IQ says, prayers to Cali indeed. I contact a friend living there and I'm saddened. And then Fitness IQ says, Serena Wills, hey. So we are talking today about, okay. Hey, Dr. Tachi, hope you're doing better than good, especially on a Friday. Okay.
Yeah, I'm better than good. I'm fantastic.
All right.
I want my deposit back for 2025, but I'm good.
I want my deposit back. All right. I have questions, but do you have stuff you want to? One other comment here. The comments are really coming in here. What? Okay, Serena Wills, we here in the DMV area will never forget January 6th. Violence, curfews, having our lights out and blinds closed to stay safe. It was a horrific moment. Yes, you were unfortunately part of that. And Just Toronado is in the house.
Hey, Tora.
Good morning. Hail up. Dr. Tachi is in the building.
Welcome.
All right. I know you have things you want to cover. Plus, I've got questions. So I'll let you go first. So if you want me to give you questions, you tell me how you want us to roll.
So let's kind of do a ping pong back and forth. I'll start with something and then you can ask a question.
Yeah.
And we'll take questions from the audience.
Audience too. So family engage. All right. I do.
All right. Well, before we go, you asked me to send you some Florida warm. Today it's going to be 76, so I'm sending that up to you all.
Which is about 23 degrees Celsius. Bye. Go on now. Bye.
76 Fahrenheit. I mean, not
Oh no. Okay.
Okay. So let's start with where shall I start? Let's start with the person of the year, AI.
Oh, okay. Okay.
One of the biggest, and it's not just one tech story, it is a group of tech stories, was AI, right? AI has been on the scene for quite a while, but this year, there was really an explosion that started to happen as it started to really learn from itself. I don't know if you notice this, but as you're using generative AI like Chat GPT, like why do I keep calling it Genesis? Gemini, thank you. Gemini, as we keep using all of these generative AI to do things, it gets better and better, and they keep working on it. Now, one of the big stories two big stories in terms of AI. Number one, that we now are starting to see video look realistic with AI, photorealistic with AI. Sora debuted last year, and that's one of the big things. For those of you who don't know Sora, it is the cinematic generative AI for creating AI-powered videos that I've played around with it. If you have the basic Chat GPT, I don't know if it's called professional, whatever, but the $20 a month, it comes with that. And you have some limitations. If you pay $200 a month, you have full reign, which is really only for people that I guess are using it on a regular basis and are going to see something come of it. Now, there are still some bugs with it. I've made some things that it's like, well, what happened to the cup that was in the person's hand? It just disappears, right? But it really does speak to the fact that we're getting there. We are getting to the point where you'll be able to replicate some things with AI, and it will, I submit it's not going to completely replace the movie industry. You'll probably be able to do some things easier, like commercials, etc. They've already, who was it? I want to say it was Coke, who earlier last year did an AI generated commercial. One of the first, I want to say it was Coke, and I can't remember the brand, but this is where obviously this was in 2023. Everybody started getting up in arms because one of the other things I'll talk about is the strikes and its effect. But the strikes were in 2023, and part of what was happening in Hollywood with the strikes, the big contention point was AI. Okay. And so now we've come forward and we've got generative AI in the form of film and Sora. And when we look at it, what makes all of this run? The biggest company that does the chips that powers AI, NVIDIA. Okay. So their worth basically quadrupled last year. Okay. So NVIDIA stock was the stock to have. And if you had it, you're very lucky. But they are right now really one of the sole makers of these chips that makes AI run. So AI, person of the year, we got advancements in AI powered video, and the company that is responsible for the chips, NVIDIA, did really well. Dr. Vibe.
All right. Interesting enough. I'm getting a little bit of echo on your end.
Echo. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think, yeah, it's gone now. Okay, good. One of the things on Jensen Huang, who is the head of NVIDIA, he was just speaking this week at the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. And he said, though, he doesn't see supercomputing, which is a whole other conversation, becoming mainstream for the next 15 years, which again, now a lot of companies that are in that space, their stocks took a dip, but he is one of the most powerful people in the world, Jensen Huang. He's the head of NVIDIA. Now, Fitness IQ Cam says Adidas made a full AI video. Okay, I have a question. How then is AI reshaping the way movies, TV shows, and even news are created and consumed?
So we've already started to see. Are you still getting an echo from me? Okay. So we've already started to see the effects of AI in different places. So for example, if you go to YouTube, last year there was a news channel that debuted called Channel 1, I believe, and it is an all AI, all of the correspondents are AI generated. So we're already starting to see that. Now, in newsrooms themselves, you do see some AI powered things in terms of maps for traffic, in terms of maps for weather, etc. You do, but I think everyone, especially in journalism, is being very careful with that because there are also ethical concerns when it comes to AI, creating things that were not there. Can you imagine if AI was around during for example, September 11th attacks and the things that would have been done to inflate? It was already an inflated event, but how AI could be used for that. So I think that's where people are being very careful, and we have to be very careful. So that's one example of where we're already starting to see it. In film, remember, just last year, Tyler Perry said, I am no longer building out my studios, and he had plans to significantly increase and build out more for his 300-acre studio that is in downtown Atlanta. Or is it Midtown? It's in Atlanta, whatever the case may be. So he said, well, I'm not doing that anymore after he saw Sora. I think that's a little bit premature, but it does speak to the nature of what can be done with AI. So those are two examples of what's already happening.
Then I have another conversation piece.
Yeah.
Are audiences able to tell the difference between human generated and AI generated media? Or do you think it matters to the audience?
No. That's also asking, do we have a media literate audience? And we do not. We do not. I don't think for the most part many people care because people are already so willing to fall for anything. This is even before AI. All you have to have is the right person to say the wrong thing and people will believe it. They will eat it up like beans porridge. Yes, that's an African reference, but they will eat it up like beans porridge. Okay. So I have to say, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I think the average person is not media literate enough to care about whether or not something is AI. The people that are media literate, yeah, they do care and they do try to discern whether something is AI or not. We even have, when you upload something to YouTube, you've noticed this, Dr. Vibe, it asks you if any part of this is generated by AI. You are supposed to mark it off. Now, does that mean everybody who uses AI generated information is marking that off? No, but at least these platforms are making an effort to make sure that we are informed of what is generated and what is not. That's my answer to that.
Okay, then another conversation piece. What ethical concerns are arising from AI-driven media, such as deepfakes or generative storytelling?
Obviously, misinformation and disinformation, the propensity to incite and cause people to do things that they would not have ordinarily done, but because of their daftness, and I can't be nice with this, because of their daftness, they are swept up into movements. They are swept up into actions because we've done a really good job of eroding critical thinking skills. And here, this is the thing, and it may seem very conspiracy theorist of me, and that's not what I intend. But if we look at, I'm a critical thinker. If we look at it critically, it does no good to have the populace thinking critically because then you are able to spot when things are wrong. If I remove your ability to think critically, you're willing to fall for anything, including anything I create using artificial intelligence that seems real. But I've taken away your critical thinking skills. So it's like, is this real? It could be real, but that's not my job to think.
Facts.
So those are some of course the dangers. But then let's look at the ethical perspective from another perspective. I just want to say, hey, Ron, another perspective. Let's look at the ethical concerns from another perspective. The fact that, remember the show Westworld? I don't know if you ever watch it, but you remember the show Westworld? Okay. So
Yep.
Westworld was basically, for those of you who don't know the plot, it was an amusement park full of androids where people would go and they could live out fantasies. Some of them were diabolical, terrible fantasies. Shows you the minds of the people who wrote it, but that's what it was. So what started to happen after a while was that the androids started to remember the things that were being done to them. So let's take that and apply that to AI. If we're talking about robots, right, which are basically coded and implanted with AI and AI capabilities, if you are doing things like, for example, mistreating a robot, could it come to the point that it would remember that you mistreated it? And does that become an ethical concern? There is a whole field of people looking at the ethics in robotics, and not just in terms of how it affects humans, but when it comes to AI, how it affects the quote machines that we are using to do things. So if you are now, we're saying, well, these machines and AI can do things that humans don't want to do or whatever. This happened before, and it was called slavery. So I know for some people it may be far-fetched, but it is something to think about, people.
All right, good stuff. As we said, good morning, Ron Foster. Good to see you. Good to see you, Mr. Foster. And also says, yes, Dr. Tachi, critical thinkers are extinct. And also says, Westworld was a great show. Why don't you give a shout out to Ron Foster? Tell our family what Ron Foster is all about.
Ron Foster is the most amazing human. He is a photographer. He is a deep critical thinker. He's a political junkie. He has a show called Touch Base Daily, which comes on every day on his YouTube channel and Instagram channel Instagram account at 10 a.m. I think he's going back to 11 a.m. when he comes back, 11 a.m. Eastern time. We also replay the shows of the day on Indie Soup Media at 4 p.m. Eastern time when we come back. So he's just a wonderful human being. If you're not following him, follow him at Ron Lewis Photos on Instagram. Follow him, Ron Foster, on YouTube. You won't be disappointed. He's amazing.
Excellent. And he also says, true Dr. Tachi, agreeing with you. True Dr. Tachi. All right. Where do you want to go to next? We talked about AI. What do you want to do next?
Okay, let's go over to, let's stay with technology, and let's talk about medical technology in terms of weight loss. Weight loss has always been a thing, right? But we have started to see a lot infused in terms of technology here. Medicine and drugs are technology too. Let's think about that, okay? So all of this technology. So one thing that I noticed is not a whole lot, but have you ever seen, I can't remember the name of the actual gym, but it is a gym that uses EMS technology, and you put on the EMS suit and they give you light exercises to do. Meanwhile, the electric currents are making your muscles work harder. So it's supposed to be more effective. I'll look it up. I can't remember the name of the gym here, but it is, that's something that it debuted, I think, in 2023, but I've seen it here at least really take off in 2024. Because people already don't like to exercise. So if I can do it more efficiently, I will. So that's one thing in terms of, well, medical or health technology. Let's just say health technology. So in terms of weight loss, now we would be remiss if we did not look at the rise of weight loss drugs and the technology in terms of that.
Things like Ozempic?
Correct. So Ozempic, Wegovy, and then
yes.
Those are the brand names. But yes, Semaglutides, I believe, are also those are also weight loss drugs. I think I'm saying it right. So we've seen those injectables, and they've gone beyond now just the prescription things that you can get. Now, all you have to do is turn on the television, and you see Hers, Hims, all these
Yes.
different brands that have the semaglutide injections. First of all, I'm not wanting to inject anything to myself at home.
Wow.
Yikes. But yeah, they really have taken off. And what does that say? Well, it's an indication of a lot of things, right? That fosters right into the food technology and the things that we've been doing to food for donkey years, especially in the West, that make it more sugary, more salty, more fatty, that lead to the obesity in the US anyway, the obesity epidemic that we have, and lead to the creation of these weight loss drugs. And they took off last year.
Okay. Catch up with Ron, has some more stuff to say. He says, oh, thank you guys. Yes, back at 11 a.m. Also says, thank you for the shout out. Serena says, AI is affecting the literary world where people are just not using it for research, but lifting everything that they find, copying it and putting it into their articles and making it their own. Also, Ron Foster says, wow, about that gym. He says, wow, that's some kind of gym. And also says, yes, Dr. Tachi, everywhere on TV, food is at its worst in America. And also to one of our producers says that she has her on her Snapchat, it remembers, the AI remembers things on her Snapchat.
Mm-hmm. It does. Remember, AI is initially it was called machine learning.
Yes.
So it learns from the mistakes it makes. It learns from what you tell it. Think about this. All of you that use ChatGPT, whenever you go in and you do a new query to ChatGPT, does it not include some of the other things that you asked about?
Yeah.
I asked to do a post for one of my clients. Could you help me create this? I fed in the information. I didn't say what hashtags to use, but it gave me the hashtags that I
Wow.
did. So it's learning. So if that is the case, do you not think it can remember when it has been mistreated? That's why people laugh, but I'm like, listen, beware the robot apocalypse. Keep kicking over these robot dogs and things like you do and see what happens.
Wow. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's wild. So let's do a reset, everyone here. We've got Dr. Tachi here doing a review of 2024 in the media, in the world of media, tech, and pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
So ask your questions, family. I've got a whole bunch of things. Also, talking about AI, what major advancements in the generative world have occurred in 2024, and how are these things impacting our everyday life?
So, I mean, again, I would say many of us really, when we look at these things, we're still thinking only about how it can help us to write things, right? And to come up with these ideas in terms of, I hear an echo, I'm sorry.
You're okay. No, you're okay. Go ahead.
Okay. In terms of Chat GPT and other generative AI. So that's one definite everyday application. But when you look at it, it's doing a lot more than that. I work with a realtor, and one of the things that we have been investigating this whole past year is how AI is going to change the real estate industry. And this is huge because, and I know Ray McMillan is here, so if he's still here, I'm sure he can really attest to this and speak to this. But there are major implications for real estate when it comes, not just for realtors and the way you're selling, because there were also the National Association of Realtors. There was a huge lawsuit which they lost, and so that is having an effect on the commissions that are collected by agents.
Wow.
It's having a huge effect on that. So that, coupled with some people thinking, well, AI is here. Why do I need a realtor anymore? Why do I need? There's this period of justification that no, you actually still need a realtor, that type of thing, right? So it's having tremendous implications in terms of things like that, in terms of pricing, right? In terms of creating and doing home tours. Now you could be a buyer that is in Dubai and you're looking to buy something in Miami, and you don't even have to leave. That's already the thing with video, etc. But now AI is making this even more of a thing, even more realistic, where you let me tell you. Let me learn, as we say in Igbo, Chere Kamgwagi, let me tell you. Okay, Chere Kamgwagi. I went to there's a new condo building opening up over here on Las Olas Boulevard. And Las Olas Boulevard is full of like luxury condo buildings, and it's wonderful. And shops and things. So we went, there's a new building, and they invited Gary to come. So Gary says, hey, why don't you come too? I think I will. It was the tour. The building is not built. The building is not built. However, they gave us VR goggles and had programmed the entire, listen, I was blown away. I was, please make sure nothing is in the way, because I was to the point where at the end, they put you in a hot air balloon and you flew over the building and saw everything that's all AI.
With a virtual.
Virtually.
Oh, wow.
Virtual. This is the future of real estate. So this is what I'm talking about. That you can create this, have someone create this and send it over to, hey, you have a VR headset, right? Here you go. Here's your tour. And it feels like you are, I swear, I felt like I was there. The pool, they're like, all right, now we're going to go onto your terrace. You can look over and see to the street. First of all, I had to calm myself down, because you know how I get with technology.
Yeah.
Like, hurry up, give me my glasses. But it was phenomenal. It's only going to become more apparent.
Mainstay.
And more mainstream. Yeah, it's going to be a mainstay. Absolutely.
Okay, Ron says Copilot knows I'm a photographer with a YouTube channel and answers accordingly. He also says my Copilot is my best work partner. Having dyslexia helps me to communicate in my voice and faster. And he has laugh emojis from what you're saying, and also saying, wow. And as you said, Ray McMillan is in the house. Here he goes. Oh, the virtual reality tours with goggles are unreal. I had this similar tour in the Caribbean 2 years ago. I walked through an entire condo, even turned on the fireplace.
Yes, you can do things too. So it's not just them doing it. They'll tell you like, well, hold up your hand, and bam, something appeared. It's phenomenal. So Ray knows.
Wow. So here's a conversation piece. Are governments keeping up with the rapid pace?
No.
Okay.
No.
Or are the tech companies still outpacing regulation?
Listen, private industry always outpaces government because government is traditionally slow. There are so many levels of approvals and things that you need to go through for the government, which is why, not to jinx myself, but I never want to have a government contract to do anything because it just takes too long. I was a government contractor when I think I told you all, when I was in the master's program, I did tours at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing where they make the money. It would be interesting to see if they're incorporating AI at all. Probably not, because government agencies are slow. So they are not keeping up with it. And the fear is, here's the thing, if private industry continues to outpace government, which it always does, this is when problems start to occur because you don't understand the technology enough to make regulation for it. And it seems whoever you hire either doesn't know enough or you all don't listen. And so regulation is always an afterthought. TikTok.
Okay. Fitness IQ Cam goes, wowzer to that virtual reality. Ron says, I want to go on a tour. McMillan,
Go ahead. Sorry.
McMillan goes, AI will make real estate sales much easier and efficient for those people who prepared to roll with these changes.
Yes. I mean, Ron also said in terms of having dyslexia and being able to do things easier because of it, that's an everyday application of this. What Ray just said, that's an everyday application. So these things are already happening. But to your thing, no, the government is not keeping up with it. They could be as huffy, HR huff and stuff as they like. They are not keeping up with it.
All right, and Ron says government is usually a decade or more behind. And that look who's here on the Indie Soup channel, the food plane.
Hey,
good morning,
plane.
Dr. Tachi and Dr. Vibes. Shout out the food plane.
How are you? One of my faves. We have such good people in our communities, don't we, Dr. Vibe?
Yeah, this is good to have them here. Have really, really good. Really, really good. Where do you want to go next? I have a number of conversations, but you're driving the ship. I'm just steering it today.
Well, give me a conversation piece, and then I'll go to another thing.
Okay, so let's talk about diversity and representation.
Oh, perfect.
Sorry to bring the tone. Has 2024 brought any significant progress in your lens in diversity and representation in the media, both in front and behind the camera?
No, if anything, it's been stagnant in a sense. So this is a difficult question to answer. It depends on what you're looking at and who you're asking. For some things, obviously there are projects, it's like, oh yes, this is an all Black cast, or yes, this has an all Asian cast. But then when you look proportionately to the number of projects that are actually made, they pale in comparison. And then when we talk about things that are all Asian casts, forget it, right? That's a hard uphill battle when it comes to things like that. So when it comes to diversity, equity, inclusion in a whole, and that's actually one of my points. So I mean, probably I should just roll that in once I finish talking about that. No, I think if we're looking at Hollywood, the emphasis has been on maintaining Hollywood as an institution as it is for actors, writers, directors, etc., because of coming off of the heels of a strike, right? And anybody who's in Hollywood can probably correct me. Coming off of the heels of a strike and then, of course, a pandemic. So they haven't really been in full production mode since 2019. So they are really feeling the pinch. This is why you see a lot of companies letting people go a lot. And this is not just Hollywood, but this is across media. They're like, okay, they closed their whole this, they closed their whole that. I was looking today. I don't know if you got an email from StreamYard, and it's like, we're getting rid of collabs.
Yes.
So, with getting rid of services, that usually also means getting rid of people who provide these services, right? Who work on these services. So this is been something that is rampant. So bringing it back to this, I don't think there has been any significant changes. It's not 1942, but it's certainly not where it could be. But you know what I say to that? Stop begging people to put you on. I don't believe in begging people. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. I don't like you either. So the feeling is mutual. So maybe I'm not for you, but I'm not going to wait for you to give me a chance to decide. And here's the thing. Back in 2018, I pitched Mediascope at a pitch summit that I was at. Mm-hmm. And of course, we were doing we're doing a live weekly show. And they did not know what to do with a live streamed weekly show. Their thing is pre-recorded, big budget. They don't know what to do with it when it comes to this. And in my head, I was like, all you have to do is look at TikTok and YouTube and what's happening, and you can see the vision here. They could not. Go figure.
And look at you now. You have a platform that has over 22,000 subscribers. Right?
Yeah, like I said, I don't like you either. So it's okay.
So let's catch up on comments. The food plane says thank you. Ron Foster says hi, food plane. Just Tornado is loving what you're sharing. Ron Foster says we love you, Dr. Tachi. And Fitness IQ Cam says I want to be your cup of tea, coffee, or water. LOL.
Please, I'm serving it all. So.
All right. I can put some more things on your plate if you want to, or do you have stuff? Because I want to make sure everything you want to cover gets covered. Because
well, I think it's important for you to glean what you want out of this conversation
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
So
All right. Let's talk about streaming wars and content trends. So how has the competition among streaming platforms like Netflix, Disney Plus, and others evolved? How did it evolve in 2024? And are there any new players entering the race? Or are we seeing consolidation, or that word I remember a long time ago, convergence in the
convergence?
Media?
Yes. And you remember we talked about this 2 types of convergence.
Yes.
So let's talk about what's happening in streaming. Among the legacy media, when we're talking about legacy American media, NBC, ABC, CBS, etc., we've seen a lot of, in the past few years, this convergence and this conglomerization, I'm calling it, where you have, you used to have Disney before, but remember, ABC and Disney then merged. And then now Fox got into the mix, and Fox, that also means 20th Century Fox got into the mix, right? That also means a lot of other things were there. So it's like following the breadcrumb trail of who owns what. And I've said this to my students for years. There are really only 5 major companies that own all of the media, and it's been that way for quite some time. Independent media is no more. Even we had, not this past year, but the re-merging of CBS and Paramount, right? They were together, then they broke up, and now they got back together again. They got remarried. They did a vow renewal or whatever, right? Hey, Kim, sorry. So, I love to say hi to people. So that's what we're seeing in terms of streaming. The legacy media have converged, but now in that I think they were too quick to kind of get into the game because they thought and saw money to be made because of Netflix. Netflix is still on top when it comes to these things. They can say, oh, well, Disney is here, Disney is there, but let's not forget that Disney, all of they're very specialized. So Disney, Hulu, ESPN, all of those things that have now converged together, they are very specialized. Whereas Netflix runs the gamut of things, right? And so they've been in the game much longer, in the streaming game, much longer than everybody else. So what has happened? We've seen a lot of folding. We're getting rid of 200 of our staff on this end, 50 people on that end are getting rid of. We're collapsing this and doing that. So we've seen a lot of the legacy media pulling back on their streaming dreams. What we've also seen, though, is the rise of FAST. And FAST is free ad-supported television. Pluto, Crackle is no more. I think they've kind of merged into something else. But Freevee, right? Plex. We've seen a lot of these channels that have popped up that are not just subscription. Because in my opinion, subscription alone does not work. The moment somebody has something to pay for, their car breaks down, you're out the window. So it needs to be a combination of different things, but these work by advertising. So you notice we're now going back into, remember with the legacy media, commercials are a thing. You have to watch commercials. When cable came about, there was a lessening of commercials because you were paying subscription. But that subscription fee was really not enough for operations. So now you have commercials back in. Netflix has even had to acquiesce and said, you know what, we have to do ads because this subscription alone is not working to our specifications. Let me just say this, it works, but it does not work for the type of money that these people are trying to make because they're also beholden to investors.
Dr. Tachi,
Sir.
you have rocked the world again.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always
Oh,
great to be able to
There's
share.
so much more we could go, but I don't want to put people through a 3-hour conversation. We already had one earlier this week with the Prime Minister, but we're going to cut it here. But best place to get a hold of Dr. Tachi, as always, is Indie Soup TV. There's the YouTube channel. I didn't even put her. You know what? Let me correct something. I got to also put her Instagram, because
Instagram is, for some reason, it's just quick and I can access people there. So
yes,
if you want to get to me, my Instagram handle is like right underneath my name. You can feel free to contact me there.
I will also put it on screen.
Okay.
There we go. We got that. So, wow, man, there's still a pile of comments coming in. All right, we've got. Oh, well, it's already been put out. It's been put on all the platforms, indiesoup.tv. But also, if that same person could also put Dr. Tachi's Instagram for everyone.
It's indiesoupmedia.tv.
Indiesoupmedia. Dot. Did I got it? I have it wrong?
You have no. In the comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got
So
okay.
indiesoupmedia.tv.
Okay, so Dr. Tachi's, so all the platforms that I am part of, her Instagram handle is there, indiemedia.tv. So if you could make that correction, person who did that, we can get that done. But Dr. Tachi, I think it'd be a good idea to do a revisit halfway through the year.
Sure.
And is there anything exciting coming up on, well, there's always Indie Soup Media. What's coming up in the next little while for indiesoupmedia.tv, which has now been corrected in the comments?
Yeah, no problem. We're on break until February, like closer to the end of February. So we're going to come back middle of February with we had an abbreviated season last time. So everybody has about 2 more episodes to go. So we'll watch those, take a break, and then come back with new, fresh content. And I think a whole bunch of new creators. So we're working on that. We have some exciting partnership with someone or an entity. And so we have a lot of exciting things coming up.
Always do. All right. As always. And we have to chat sometime today.
Yes.
We have to chat sometime today. So as always, Dr. Tachi, man, it's been how many years now? Wow.
This is going into the 10th year.
What? It's been 10.
It was 2015.
Wow. All right. Okay. I will say, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. Oh, look at this. Just Tornado says, we need a Dr. Tachi update every 12 weeks, aka each quarter. Okay, let's do the quarter thing.
We could do a quarterly.
We can do it quarterly. That's a done deal. If she can get herself available, we'll go for quarterly. But don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And always, if you're not making money, make history. Make history. We'll see you. Take care, be well, and keep the faith. Bye. All right, family. I have got to shut up and dance, or as Dr. Tachi said, make an exit stage left some way, somehow. But just a little recap here. You can subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. We finally passed over 1,640 subscribers. Finally. To advertise your business, service, or product on our show, please email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Email me dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. If you want to get a hold of Ryan, his website is Ryan O'Neill Knight. That's KNIGHT, by the way, .com. LinkedIn is Ryan O'Neill Knight. Instagram, Ryan@Ryan.Knight99. Email address, workwithme@RyanO'NeillKnight.com. And myself, Dr. Vibe. There's my website address, thedrvibeshow.com. Website, that's the website. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Instagram, @The Dr. Vibe Show. X, @The Dr. Vibe Show. And email, dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. And you can watch replays of this on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn at The Dr. Vibe Show, Afro-Caribbean Business Network on Facebook, and then Ryan O'Neill Knight on YouTube. So that's it. That's a wrap today, family. I have definitely got to run. You probably heard that notification. I've got a meeting to get to in a few moments, but we'll end off with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourself grace. And coming up on Monday, Carolyn Nicole about how to reset your health goals in 2025. God bless, peace, well, keep the faith, and walk good.